One day there were two groups fighting for ruling the world. One of the groups were normal humans, and they had a limited lifespan, but the other group were humans who don't die, and their name was the Regenerators, and when the battle ended in a draw, the result became dependent on a fight between the rulers. The first one was named Graham, and he was the owner of the great sword and ruler of the mortals, and the second was named Veltal, the Demon King, and he rules the Regenerators. And they enter in a very fast clash together, and it ends with a decisive strike from Graham that makes him unable to regenerate again. So Veltal before dying tells him, "Well done. I admit your strength and bravery." So Graham replies, "You also were very strong." So Veltal asks him, "Then why did I lose, though I was much stronger than you in planning and military power and all aspects?" So Graham replies, "The reason is that we have a precious life we must protect. And maybe this in your eyes is weakness because we die. But at the same time this is the reason that makes us make our utmost effort in order to live." So Veltal replies, "Wherever there is light there is also darkness. And as long as darkness exists I will appear before you." So Graham promises him that every time he appears he will face him, and Veltal bids him farewell and evaporates. And after 500 years Veltal wakes up again, and he finds before him Machina, one of the 6 servants of darkness and Duchess of Flame, who was waiting for him all that time until he wakes up. So he asks her, "Where are we now?" And she replies, "We are in a place underground." So he tells her, "I want you to join me again in the operation of ruling this world." So she tells him the world we wanted to rule does not even exist anymore, because 80 years ago our world merged with another world, and what happened was named the Fantasian phenomenon, and 90% of the population died, and there was a big progress in technology, and now we are in the year 2099. And when she opens the surface door he gets shocked from the new world, so he tells Machina, "I must show these fools who Veltal is," and he raises his hand to the sky and releases his magic, but nobody cares nor fears him at all, and the alarms in the city activate. So Machina tells him using the great magic is forbidden here, and she takes him and they run quickly, and suddenly Veltal glimpses Graham passing beside him, but Machina takes him and they leave. And then she tells him that after he died they agreed with the mortals not to fight again. And 80 years ago the kingdom of the Regenerators dispersed and went to different cities, and afterwards the big factories made a Regenerators hunt campaign, and that was because they considered them evil creatures. And with the development of weapons, special weapons were made for killing the Regenerators to eliminate us all. So he asks her, "And what happened to the 6 servants?" So she tells him, "Mayan, Silwald and Warlshan, their place is unknown. And Xenal played the role of bait and rushed at the enemy, so I escape. And he said he would do that for you and for me and Warlshan because we were the only ones who know how to operate the device that we would rule the world with." So he replies to her, "That was a man with great loyalty and served me faithfully." And he asks her then, "Where is Marcus, comma?" So she gets nervous and runs away from the question, and leaves him and goes to buy him something to drink. And suddenly Veltal sees strange bodies flying before him and approaching a girl, and then she points her finger to the screens on the buildings, so the things displayed on them change. And the girl laughs and walks quickly, so he stops her and asks her, "What did you do?" So she tries to escape from the question and tells him, "What do you mean?" So he tells her, "I saw the ether around you and afterwards these videos changed." So she gets surprised that he discovered the programming hack she did with the ether, and she asks him, "Who are you?" So he tells her, "I am the Demon King, and I understand that you did something to these videos, but I don't know what exactly, and I think you are very skilled." So she gets happy that he praises her, and she replies to him, "I didn't do something impressive, that was a simple hack. And despite my look I am an ether hacker working in dangerous things that could cause my death." And she starts explaining to him the programming bug in the screens and that she works in the company that displays these things. And she did that because she is upset with them. So he interrupts her and asks her, "Do you know the place of a person named Marcus?" So she points him to the company building she works in and tells him he is its president. So Veltal enters to the receptionist and tells her, "I came for Marcus. And he will understand if you tell him Veltal is here." So Kinohara, assistant of Marcus, enters to him and tells him, "Come with me, the president is waiting for you." So he goes up with her to Marcus's room and he welcomes him. So Veltal tells him, "How can you see me and remain sitting?" So Marcus asks him, "Why did you come here?" So he replies with a question, "Is it not supposed that you are the first person to celebrate that I woke again?" So Marcus replies with sarcasm, "Yes, really." And he ignores the subject of Veltal and tells him, "Let's go so you help me rebuild the kingdom of the Regenerators again and we rule this world." So Marcus laughs with sarcasm and replies to him, "No, Veltal." So Veltal gets angry because he called him by his name instead of saying "my king," and before he releases the magic Kinohara pulls her sword and Veltal evades the strike before it reaches him, and he gets surprised that she used weapon-shaping magic, and Marcus asks Kinohara not to interfere, and tells Veltal, "You became very weak and impossible to rule the world with this power. Even our faith in you that was supporting you and the fear your name was causing got forgotten, and I will never bow to a weak person like you," and he throws him out of the place. So Veltal gets angrier and charges his magic, and before he releases the spell Marcus uses the spell breaker and cancels it, and tells him, "You are very slow." So Veltal gets shocked and asks him how, so Marcus laughs with sarcasm and tells him, "Surely you want to know how a person like me who has no talent in magic does that," and he shows him the device on his nape, and plays him the advertisement video of his company, which manufactures a device named Familia, and that makes using magic faster and easier, so any person can use magic. And he tells him, "I made the Familia not merge with the bodies of creatures like you, so you remain weak and I am strong stronger than you, so Veltal tries to use his magic again, and quickly Marcus cancels it. So Veltal asks him why are you doing this, so he replies with a question, did you really think that I had loyalty to you? I never loved you from the start. You always saw yourself better than everyone, and you never thought even once what is my feeling while I hide my anger from you all the long period I worked as servant under you. So Veltal understands that he was blind and never saw all this from the start, and Marcus shoots at him the blood arrows and throws him outside the building, and Veltal falls in a passage, and when he exits it he bumps into a huge man and his gang. So Veltal tells him you are a fool and rude, and on the other side Makaina was searching for him and hears the sound of something breaking. So she goes to see what is and finds Veltal on the ground beaten, and he is shocked and not comprehending why he is losing from anyone in this world though he was the strongest person in it. So Makaina takes him and they ride a train, and she apologizes to him that she couldn't tell him about the betrayal of Marcus, so he replies to her, no problem. If you had told me I would go also to confirm by myself, and afterwards they go to her house that she lives in, and Veltal thinks that she lives in a huge palace alone and prepared it for him, but he gets shocked that she lives in a very small room, so he thanks her that she endured this hard life all that time she waited for him. On the next day Makaina is sleeping, and she sees a nightmare of her when the mortals were surrounding her on the edge of a volcano, and they were calling her a demoness and throwing stones at her, so they don't find any response from her and it is obvious she is surrendering to reality, so they throw her into the volcano and suddenly a black mist appears and holds her, and rises with her, and Veltal appears from the middle of the mist, and says I heard news about a regenerator in danger and that's why I came, and he extends his hand to her and tells her come with me and be my servant, and she extends her hand to him, so Makaina wakes up to the sound of the alarm, and Veltal is sleeping beside her. So she gets up to prepare him breakfast, and suddenly she calls on Anicap, so a miniature electronic version of her appears, and tells her the date and time and weather like artificial intelligence. And then Makaina enters to wake Veltal to eat, so he gets surprised from the shape of the food because this is not what he was used to, however he likes it very much and Makaina gets happy with that, and then Veltal asks her do you know the place of someone from the Regenerators, so she replies to him there are many people who survived from the Regenerators hunt campaign, but recently they began to disappear in a strange way, and when I went to their headquarters there were traces of a battle, and I found them leaving a paper with only one sentence, Regenerator Furnace, and of course they don't understand what is written, so he asks her are these hunt operations still continuing, and she replies to him no they stopped since years. And suddenly he hits the cup before him and tea falls from it, and that was because of the wound in his hand from yesterday, so he tells Makaina I am upset that my regeneration abilities decreased, and even yesterday when I released my magic into the sky it was supposed to remove all the clouds around the city if I was in my full strength, and I feel now that everything was ruined when I died. So she replies to him that is because the faith you possessed in the past is not existing in this era, so he tells her you are right. Without the existence of other people acknowledging me my strength vanished and I became forgotten, so she replies to him at the present time you became part of history, so Veltal tries to be a little optimistic and tells her don't worry I will bring all that back again. And then he tells her I want to go out. Sitting here is very boring, so she suggests to him that they go buy some things together, and she takes him to a clothes shop to buy him clothes, in order to match the era they are in now instead of the strange armor he is wearing, and when he enters she stops him on a scanning device that measures his height and width exactly, and it becomes Makina's turn to choose the clothes from the screen before her. So she asks him is there something specific you like to wear, so he tells her I leave the matter to you, so she calls on Anicap and asks her to choose the best thing. And Veltal gets impressed by the design she chose so they buy it and leave, so he tells her wait you did not pay yet, so she replies to him I paid online, and of course he doesn't understand what she is saying, and afterwards they go to eat together, and he asks her how does the familia look like, so she replies to him I can assure you it is a comfortable tool used in magic, and you can do with it many other things like gathering information and buying things and communicating with others, so he sees it on her nape and tries to touch it, and when they reach the door of the house Veltal stands and refuses to go up, and suddenly he tells her I will go work, so she thinks that she is not fulfilling his needs and falling short with him, and she tells him please don't do that, I will try to provide you with a better life and work 3 jobs, so he interrupts her and tells her the time has changed, even I am no longer the great person capable of doing everything, but I cannot sit without doing anything while you pressure yourself to provide us food and clothes, and now came the time that I change. And when he feels that she got upset, he tells her I did not abandon the idea of ruling the world and I still need you, so she kneels and tells him and I will remain in your service. And then she holds him and wants to go with him, but he refuses and tells her you have another work, and he escapes from her with the idea if disasters happen while I am searching for a job I will depend on you. So she leaves him and gives him a device charged with money he can use it in anything and he can call her from it at any time since he does not have a familia. And afterwards he goes searching for a job but he has no idea about the work existing in this era, and he refuses to call Makaina to ask her because he wants to depend on himself, and suddenly he stands and screams in a loud voice, does anyone have a job for me? So a homeless person silences him, and tells him you cannot cannot do what you are doing. If you want a job, go to the commercial guild, and asks him, do you have a citizen ID? So Veltal does not understand what he means, so the man concludes that he escaped from another country or came in an illegal way, so he gives him a CV paper to fill and go to the commercial guild to apply for a job, and he advises him to stay away from any job written with the name of IMHI Company of Marcus. So Veltal asks him why, and the man replies, I never heard any good talk about it ever. So Veltal thanks him and goes to the guild. And the employee asks him, you wrote that you know how to use Dil Stella. What is this? So Veltal replies, this is a spell that can destroy an entire army. So the employee gets surprised and asks him, then why did you write military tactics and strategic leadership? So he replies to him, because I have a talent in leading armies and fought in many battles before. So the employee asks him, then why did you write in your career history kingdom management? So Veltal tells him, I was ruler of a state for 1000 years and I won many wars and my people were happy. So the employee asks him, then your last job was from 500 years ago. Am I seeing it right or is this a mistake? So he replies to him, no, it is written right, but for me only 1 day passed, so don't worry. And in the end the employee tells him, we have no job for you, and this is the decision we reached after we read your CV, not to mention that we don't employ anyone without a familia. So Veltal returns home very desperate, and tells Makina, answer me with all honesty. Am I totally incapable to do anything in this era? I began to lose confidence completely, so she tries to comfort him and tells him the fault is not in him, and that they don't comprehend his greatness. So he asks her, do you know a person in this world who could give us advice? So she tells him, yes, there is a girl, I go buy things with her and we eat and play together, and she calls her to meet them in a cafe near the house. So they go to the cafe and the surprise is that she is the ether hacker that Veltal met before, and she sits beside him and tells him, my name is Takahashi. So he introduces himself and she asks him, were you speaking seriously in the matter that you are the Demon King? And she tells him that Makina was speaking a lot about you and was saying that you will wake up soon, but she didn't know that the matter was real. And while she is speaking, Veltal notices that her familia looks different from Makina's, so he puts his hand on it and examines it. So Takahashi gets shocked, and Makina reassures her that he is using the ruler eyes technique that allows him to put his mana into anything and know how it was manufactured. So Takahashi understands how he discovered the programming hack she did on the screens in the street. So he tells them, I have a general idea about what happens inside the familia, but still there are many things I cannot analyze. And then they go directly into the subject and Makina asks Takahashi about a job for Veltal. So she asks him, why didn't you go to the commercial guild? So he replies to her, I did that already, but I was rejected because I don't have a familia. So she gets surprised that he doesn't have one, and he tells her it is impossible specifically for me to put one, and he asks her to help him in the matter of the job and specifically to be a job that makes him known in this world. So the cafe owner turns on the television, so they see a girl making a live broadcast. Takahashi explains to him that those who do live broadcasts play video games or sing or talk, and they earn money from ads and donations that come to them, and when they get famous they might find work. So he asks her, can I do that even while I don't understand anything? So she replies to him, yes, that is very easy and I will give you everything you will need. But Makina objects to that talk, because a person with this dignity and grandeur cannot do something like this, and she tells them this is not a profession at all. We want a stable and reliable job. So Takahashi replies angrily, you are actually old-fashioned, and Veltal has a nice voice and a great appearance, so surely he will become a star, and she tries to convince her that this is a respectable job and has dignity, but Makina insists on her opinion and does not get convinced by that talk, and she asks Veltal, what is your opinion? And the surprise is that Veltal agrees because there is nothing else he can do. And afterwards Veltal returns home and reads about the Ether Network, which is something that allows people to present their opinions at any time and any place. But he notices the main flaw in social media, which is that anyone can say his opinion and there will not be a filter for the false information that might be said. And spreading this false information will surely reduce people's awareness and will ruin everything. So he puts in his mind evil plans and thinks about how to control people. And after a while Takahashi arrives with the equipment with which he will do a live broadcast, and she tells him also that she made a promotion plan so he becomes famous quickly, and she asked her famous friends to make ads for him, and then she makes him hold the controller to try playing, and he adapts quickly and opens the game's program and chooses a game, but he discovers that he is very bad at playing and loses a lot. So Takahashi thinks that they should exploit that he doesn't know how to play and do that in front of the viewers, and he will become famous because he looks good and has a nice personality but does not know how to play, and then they think of a greeting to start the broadcast with that is distinctive and known by it. So Makina suggests that he use an old greeting of his from the days of war. So he tries it in front of them and Takahashi tells him no, it is not fun, and they postpone the matter. And she teaches him the basics of live broadcasting so he knows how to handle it and read comments and play. And her plan begins and she passes by her famous friends, and day after day Veltal's followers increase very quickly exactly as she planned, and Makina is uncomfortable with the way people speak in the comments with Veltal because she still sees him as a very great man. And one day Veltel finishes his broadcast and goes out to take a walk a little alone, and suddenly he sees Graham sitting alone on the ground and his condition is very bad. And we return to the past when Graham was young and taking care of his sick sister, and he tells her, "Don't worry, I will go out to bring you the herbs you need and you will be fine." So his father gives him his sword because there are many monsters in the area, and after he goes and collects the herbs he returns again, and on his way he sees an army of lizard men walking in the direction of his house. So he runs there quickly and finds his house burning and all his family dead. And we return to the present and we find Veltel took him to invite him to lunch, and he tells him the food became much better than our era, but Graham is very desperate and not focused with him, and when the food is ready Graham tells him, "It is very strange that I am sitting now eating with my enemy who killed my family and friends." So Veltel replies, "I feel the same thing because you wiped out all my followers, but I do not feel any hatred or anger toward you. I am only curious why you are still alive until now." And he asks him, "Did you become a regenerator?" So he replies to him, "No. I received a reward from the ruler Milda after I defeated you, and it is that I remain a youth for life, and that is not like your regeneration." And he tells him that after the war ended for a while a war happened among the mortals, and that he killed very many of them while thinking he was protecting them. And when the situation calmed down again his existence as a hero became not liked because people became afraid of the presence of a person that strong among them, and he was exiled from all countries and became lost in the world, and afterwards the Fantasian happened and the Regenerators Hunt campaign, and during them he killed a large number of mortals and regenerators, and he no longer had a place in a world that does not need a hero at all. And Veltel asks, "Why did you want to rule the world?" So he replies, "For peace. There are many things that make a person a regenerator like magic and curses, meaning every regenerator was originally a mortal one day, and people called us the Dark Ones but we are similar. Nevertheless they hated us and feared us." So Graham replies, "And the regenerators also hated us and attacked us." So he tells him, "Correct. Both sides were weak and did not understand the nature of living beings." So Graham replies, "You are wrong." So Veltel interrupts him and tells him, "A strong person like me must be the ruler to prevent conflicts among the weak, and that is the peace that I want to achieve." So Graham replies, "Peace through control is not right." So Veltel replies, "You in particular should not deny that after you lived betrayal and weakness." Nevertheless Graham does not agree with him and thanks him for the food and leaves. And Veltel returns home and on his way he sees Takahashi arguing with the huge gang leader who beat him before, and before he strikes her Veltel holds his hand, and he says, "This is a very good chance to see the result of the 1,000,000 followers I have." And the huge man punches so Veltel stops his hand easily, and the huge man uses wind magic with all his power. But Veltel is not affected and with one strike of his finger he sends him flying, so he becomes very happy that his power almost returned to him again because he gained the faith that he had lost before. And he asks her, "Who is that?" So she tells him, "He is supposed to be my bodyguard but he was annoying and blocking my way a lot." So he apologizes to her that he took him down. So she tells him, "No problem, I already found another." So he gets surprised and she begs him and tells him, "I will pay you." And on the other side Marcus asks Kinohara, "What is the news of our spy in the regenerator furnace?" So she replies to him, "We finished the purge operation yesterday and our plan is going well." And at the same time Takahashi takes Veltel with her to her work. So he asks her, "What exactly do you work?" So she tells him, "I steal," and without him asking her what do you steal and why, he focuses on the theft and asks her, "You want me to draw their attention so you can steal them, right?" So she tells him yes. And suddenly he attacks the place and storms it, and Takahashi stands shocked. Then Veltel speaks to her by telepathy, and asks her, "The cube before them is our target, right?" So she gets shocked that he speaks to her by telepathy while he does not even have a familia. So he tells her, "When I understood how the device works I modified the ether communications with magic and I started speaking with it without the device." And then he presents his famous live broadcast greeting before them, but the result is embarrassment and they do not fear him at all, and then they shoot at him energy bullets from a gun, and Veltel blocks them all with magic, and he starts the attack with unbelievable speed and finishes the first one, and the one holding the gun tries to keep up with his speed but cannot, and Veltel jumps on him quickly and with a strong kick finishes him. So the gang leader aims at him with his gun, so Takahashi interferes with the ether programming and makes him shoot one of his gang members, and in the end Veltel finishes the leader. So Takahashi gets impressed by Veltel and admits that he is truly the Demon King, and Veltel takes one of the gang's guns and Takahashi tells him, "I am coming to you." So he tells her, "No wait, the matter is not finished," and suddenly a huge monster appears wearing an invisibility cloak, so Veltel dodges him quickly and evades his strikes, and shoots at him energy bullets so the invisibility cloak gets removed, and a very huge armor appears. So Takahashi gets shocked because this armor belongs to the military forces and a gang like this should not be able to obtain one. And she tells Veltel, "Escape quickly, you will not be able to defeat him with this strength." But he takes the matter as a challenge and tries the power of the 1,000,000 followers who believe in him, and he shoots energy bullets at the armor but it does not get affected at all, and the knight pulls out a very strong weapon and responds to him with attack. So Veltel evades the bullets and runs on the wall, and then jumps to a high altitude and shoots a strong shot of magic, and lands on the ground and thinks that shot ended the matter, but the opposite happens and from among the smoke he finds finds rapid bullets one after another, so he flies to dodge them, and finds that the knight has in his hand an energy shield, so he says to himself, if I was in my full strength I would have pierced this shield easily. And he decides to take the matter more seriously and summons his Demon King armor and his great sword, so the knight turns his rifle into a sword and charges his energy, and they both enter in a strong clash that causes an earthquake under them and breaks the ground, and they go into rapid strikes until suddenly Veltal's hand gets cut, and afterwards immediately the knight cuts his head. So the knight speaks to the control center and tells them, I eliminated the target, but suddenly Veltal replies, wait, the fight is not finished yet, and then his head reconnects again to his body, so the knight gets terrified and cannot believe what he sees, and Veltal pulls out a sword much stronger than before, and immense energy forms around him, and quickly he cuts the knight's hands and splits him in half. And he approaches the knight and tells him, the time came, you speak and confess who are you and for whom you work, but unexpectedly the knight informs the headquarters that he lost and commits suicide. So Veltal takes the cube that they were originally coming for, and Takahashi comes to him terrified because his head was cut and he is still alive normally, but he does not care and is focused on the existence of weapons like this armor that gives its owner terrifying power. So Takahashi replies to him, you are the terrifying one here. You fought a very dangerous armor alone and defeated it. And then they see the logo of the company IMI on the armor, so Takahashi gets more surprised that the gang has something from this company, and she suspects that maybe there is a conspiracy from the company itself, and Veltal asks her, what is this cube? So she tells him, this is a data storage my client asked me to bring, and she opens her device to connect it and they take a look at what is inside. So the cube disassembles and they find a list of names of people. So Veltal gets surprised that they are the names of his 6 servants, but they notice that Makina's name is not among them, so Takahashi decides to go to her client's house and ask him about this matter because she felt that a very big problem is happening, and Veltal decides to go with her since he found the names of his followers. And they go to the building where he lives, and she tells him he is on the 13th floor, and she hacks the security system and opens the door, and they enter the elevator, and Veltal asks her to let him press the button because he likes to press it, so she gets surprised that the Demon King is that trivial, and when he presses the button it does not work, so she tells him, there is a security system here, you must go up the floors in a certain order, the 2nd floor first and then the 17th, and afterwards you press 13 normally. And when they arrive she tells him, don't get out of the elevator recklessly because my client put traps, as he is a very cautious man, so he replies to her, no, there are no traps, or more accurately they are disabled, and he walks normally and they go toward his apartment door. And the surprise is that they find the door open, and that is not the habit of Igio, her client. And Veltal feels something strange, so he tells her, let's walk carefully, and they get closer toward his room. So Takahashi finds him sitting, and when she puts her hand on him she gets shocked that he is dead, and the bigger surprise is that he is the person who guided Veltal to the commercial guild when he was searching for work. So Takahashi tells him he indeed likes to disguise as a normal person when he collects information. And Veltal notices that someone stabbed him in his heart with a knife, and from the look of the blood that happened a few days ago, so she tells him he had very many enemies, and he replies to her, no, that did not happen out of hatred, this was a very professional assassination operation, meaning there was a mercenary killer, and since his familia is destroyed surely someone wanted to erase all the information about him. So Takahashi begins to search for a backup copy of his data anywhere in his room, and indeed a drawer opens with a laptop inside, and Takahashi gets shocked that he did not put a password on the laptop, and the bigger surprise is that all the files on it are encrypted, so Veltal tells her, wait, try to change the arrangement of the files in a matrix shape, and indeed she finds the encryption unlocked and gets surprised that Veltal noticed something like that, and a video opens before them and they find Igio recorded it himself, and he explains in it that this city prospered with something very bad. The infrastructure of this city is the ether reactor that generates energy for the people living in it, and this reactor takes ether from underground lines that transform the energy into magic and electricity, and providing electricity to a city that big surely needs very many ether lines. But the surprise is that there are only 2 lines, so the question here is how 2 lines provide all this energy, and the answer is that surely there is another source of energy underground, which is the regenerator furnace, and it is a furnace that burns the regenerators like wood and turns them into ether energy for the city, and since they are very strong beings that do not die, so the energy of one of them equals tens of thousands of mortals, and there is information that they brought homeless and poor people to build this furnace, and once they finished it they disappeared, so probably all of them got killed. And there is information that the first regenerator who was put in this furnace was Xenol, one of the 6 servants of the Demon King, and here we discover that the regenerators' hunt operations were gathering fuel for the furnace, and I knew information that a gang will sell the names of the regenerators to the company IMI because the regenerators' fuel in the furnace is about to run out and they want others so that the ether reactor keeps working. And Igio says, and although if the energy runs out and the city stops, I see that this furnace should not exist at all, so I organized the data I collected on this laptop, and this problem will be in the hands of the one who sees this video, and I am sorry that I put this responsibility on you, but I see that the only one capable of solving this problem is the legendary Demon King who ruled all the regenerators in the past. So Takahashi gets very angry from what she heard, and Veltal asks her, shall we publish this talk on the net? In your opinion, what will happen to the city's people if information like this gets exposed and the furnace gets shut? And he tells her, before you speak you will probably get killed like what happened to Egio, and all your data will be erased. And then he tells her, this is a problem concerning the regenerators, I will deal with the matter because I am their king, don't tire yourself. And when they go out he tells her, I must inform Makaina about what happened, and he speaks to her by telepathy, but the shock is that she does not reply to him. And we return a few hours before, and we find Makaina at home thinking what she will make for lunch, and the doorbell rings so she goes to open, and the surprise is that she finds Marcus in front of her, and without any introductions she shoots at him a huge amount of energy, but he is not affected and tells her, you attacked me like this without greeting. You became very violent. So Makaina goes out of the house in combat form with flames around her and very angry, and she summons flames under his leg, so he jumps calmly and moves away from the magic circle, and he uses the blood arrows technique, and Makaina replies with arrows of light. So he tells her, I think we are equal in magical power. So she rushes on him with her fist quickly and explodes his hand. But it grows again and he summons a bigger amount of arrows and drops them on her. So Makaina makes an energy shield and blocks them, but Marcus explodes all the arrows on the ground, and nevertheless Makaina is not affected. And suddenly Kinohara appears among the smoke with her sword, so Makaina evades her quickly and tells her, I expected he would not come alone. And before she shoots at her, Marcus uses the spell breaker and cancels her magic. So Kinohara puts her sword in her back and pins her to the ground, and she tells Marcus, if you had turned off her familia from the start we would not have destroyed all this. So he tells her, sorry, I wanted to have a little fun. So Makaina asks him, how did you do that? My familia is supposed to be out of your control. So he replies, my familia is special and more advanced and allows me to attack the familia of any person easily. And as the company's director it responds to my voice commands, meaning I am the strongest man in the world now and I will be the true demon king. And they take her and leave. And after a while Veltal and Takahashi arrive while very worried, and they find the whole place destroyed. So Takahashi tells him, according to the media a huge explosion happened here a while ago. So he tells her, then we want to know Makina's place now. So she replies, leave the matter to me, and she points him to the drone of this area, and tells him there are drones everywhere for security, and delivery drones with surveillance cameras, and she starts hacking the cameras and reaches images of what happened, and they see Marcus in them going up to Makina's apartment. And Takahashi knows that they took her to the ether reactor to use her as fuel, and before Veltal leaves she tells him, I know you are in a hurry, but you will not be able to do it alone because the reactor is in the most protected area in the city, and there is a very large number of the armor you destroyed with difficulty, and I can help you in guidance, but since I do not know how to fight, and I do not know a strong person like you. So Veltal thinks and Graham comes to his mind, so he goes to him. So Graham asks him, why did you come to me? I will not answer other questions. So Veltal replies, I trample on my pride to ask you this request, and he kneels and asks him for help in saving Makaina, and explains to him everything he knows. And Graham replies, I was always uncomfortable with this thing, and now I understood the reason. And Veltal begs him to help. So Graham replies, the Dark Ones killed my family and friends and many innocent people, and you were their king one day, and now you want my help to save one regenerator woman. You caused a great war in this world and now you come on your knees asking me for help. You are very bad, and I refuse to carry a society built on sacrifices, whether they were regenerators or others. But this reactor is the heart of the city, and if you stop it for your personal problems the city will be in danger. Are you intending to annihilate the whole city and deprive them of the place they live in for one person? So Veltal replies, how can a person like you say silly words like that? The answer is clear. I will save Makaina and solve the problem of this city. I will do everything, not one thing only, because I am the demon king and this whole world I will rule it. But I am now without a kingdom or servants or authority, and because of that I am weak. And all I can do is seek your help, though you are my enemy. So I will say it again, give me your strength, O hero. So he asks him, you still call me the hero? And he stands and tells him, I think that wherever I am I will want to be a hero. But do not misunderstand, I do not intend to join you and will never forgive you. All I will do is help you save a kidnapped person. And Graham puts his hand in Veltal's hand and they go with Takahashi's guidance to the place. And they descend underground to the road from which Imi transport reactor materials, and Graham uses a strange spell that scans the whole place. So Veltal asks him, what did you do? So he replies, I scanned the whole place with mana to make a map. So Veltal gets annoyed and tells him, you do not have the pride of the adventurer who explores by himself. So he replies, and who cares about pride? The important thing is to finish the mission as fast as possible. So Veltal gets angry and they quarrel together, and Takahashi shouts at them to shut up and focus on the mission. And when Graham finishes making the map, Veltal asks him, is it accurate? So he tells him yes. And there are no traps or enemies before us, so they continue their way, and Veltal asks Takahashi, what is the news of our plan? So she tells him still not ready and needs much preparation, so it needs time even if you are ready. And he and Graham ride an elevator and descend, so interference happens on the communication between them and Takahashi because they are getting close to the reactor core, and suddenly Graham tells Veltal, you became stronger. So he replies, and you became better at mocking. You know well that I became weaker. So he tells him, no, I am not mocking. Indeed, I did not face you much before, so I do not know much about you. But what I am sure of is that you would not have knelt like this to a person like me to save someone. You were very harsh and without principles at all. and when they arrive they find before them Kinohara, and it is obvious she was waiting for them. And on the other side Makina is tied on the ground before Marcus, so he tells her, don't look at me like that. All I wanted was to celebrate a reunion with an old friend. So she replies angrily, we are not friends, you idiot. And you have no right to say that word after you betrayed our king. So he replies, after Veltal returned I did some research about the people around him, and frankly I was surprised that you are still alive. So she asks him in anger, where are we? So he tells her, in the heart of the city under the ether reactor, specifically in the regenerator furnace, and he explains to her the reason for the furnace's existence and that it burns the souls of the regenerators for energy. So she gets very angry and asks him, do you mean that Ornarid and Balmok died? So he replies coldly, don't worry, they performed the role of fuel wonderfully. And the dramatic scene they made until the last moment was very impressive. So Makina's hair reddens from intense rage and she launches flames at him, so he creates a barrier and blocks it very easily. And he tells her, of course you know that destroying the bodies of the regenerators is impossible, and that's why I made the furnace that burns their souls themselves. And oh right, allow me to tell you by the way, Xenol was the first person I threw into the furnace. And although I threw many regenerators into this furnace, the death of Xenol and the sound of his scream while he was burning was the most wonderful thing I saw in my life. So Makina replies angrily, I will burn you and turn you into ashes. So he tells her very calmly, calm down a little. The luxurious life we are living was thanks to them, so you must be grateful to them. So she asks him, are you intending to use me as fuel too? And he replies, yes. The time came that I turn you into a cornerstone for this city until I find another source of energy, because it became very hard for us to incite people to hunt regenerators after they became lazy and living happily. And to keep the matter secret I came to take you myself. And at the same time Kinohara tells Veltal, Marcus said that the former demon king will surely pass from here, so he told me to welcome you. But honestly I did not expect you to really come. Not only that, but also with you the hero Graham. So Graham gets surprised that she knows him and tells her that is a great honor for me. So she replies to him, there are many records about you saying that you are the hero who does not grow old and participated in the Second War. But it is very strange that the hero and the demon king cooperate together. So Graham steps forward and tells Veltal, I will deal with her and don't worry about me. So he replies, don't be stupid, of course I will not worry about you. But be careful because her sword skills are at Xenol's level. So he tells him, well that is very good, the matter will be easy. So Kinohara asks him, what do you mean? And he replies, I defeated Xenol before in a duel, so I will never lose against you. So Veltal tells him, you are right, you were the strongest in swordsmanship then. So his way provokes her, and in a swift moment she is behind him and draws her sword, so he blocks her strike easily, and Veltal seizes the chance and continues the way, and before Kinohara chases him Graham stands before her. So Veltal tells him, enjoy the fight but don't die, and he goes. So Kinohara activates the combat stance, and she rushes on Graham sending him flying. So Graham notices that this is armor like the military forces and its name is Magino, so she tells him we now manufacture it in our company and made the user able to summon it at any time and made it smaller and lighter unlike the previous generation that was huge and heavy and slow. And she moves with great speed and Graham keeps up with difficulty, and he tells her you talk too much about your products and I did not ask you for an advertisement. So she replies to him, while they are in sword clash, you are very old and your weapon also, meaning just relics from the past. Even your familia is an old model. So he replies to her, battles do not depend on age or quality of equipment. The controller is the one who determines if he will win or lose. So she appears behind him quickly and he blocks her sword strike. So she puts it in the sheath and draws it again with greater energy. Nevertheless he keeps up and blocks her attacks. And he tells her, I am not finding a gap to attack you. Truly the development of technology is terrifying, and he blocks her strike and kicks her. So he notices that her armor is very tough, and he tells her your normal attacks are not at this speed, and your magic does not activate except when you draw your sword from the sheath. So she laughs and replies to him, I should have expected that you would notice these things. You are right indeed, my lightning magic does not activate except by this way. But even if you discovered that, you will not be able to win the battle. And the rapid clash between them continues until Graham puts his leg on her sword and uses earth magic, but she slips away from him and breaks the rocks with the sword. So he uses ice and fixes her in place, and drops on her with all his power. So she tries to resist him, but he uses his other hand and blasts her with a fireball. Nevertheless she stands again, so he knows that is not enough to pierce her Magino, but the important thing is that he succeeded in attacking her. So he tells her this style of attacks was Veltal's that he used against me 500 years ago. And the strange thing is that it works against your equipment and modern training. So she gets angrier and attacks him more and gets angry because she cannot defeat him. So he tells her, if what you are doing was enough to defeat me, I would not have deserved the title of hero. So she charges her energy with all anger and mocks his rusty sword. So he replies to her, as long as there are people who need a hero, this sword will keep its shine. And he uses summoning magic on it so the sword glows golden. And he tells her, try to endure now. This is my greatest attack that defeated the Demon King before. So she rushes on him in anger and he drops on her with his finishing strike. So Kinohara falls on her knees, and he tells her my sword for a long time did not let me use the strike for a long period, but at most I can use it only once. But your armor is really impressive. Even if my strike was not with the same power that killed the Demon King, you were supposed to die by this strike. And her armor evaporates and she is injured with a wound in her shoulder, and she asks him why did I lose, So he replies it is better you ask why I won, and he tells her the reason is probably experience. So she replies angrily that reason is not logical. So he tells her no, you cannot ignore the matter of experience, especially when it is 500 years. So she asks him, are you not going to Marcus? So he replies to her, I think Veltal will be fine. So she tells him no, he will not be able to do anything alone. Marcus became much stronger than before, and generally any person without a familia cannot stand against him. Even I Veltal cannot stand against me. So he laughs and tells her, I thought you are smarter than that. You think he is going to challenge him without a plan? You are underestimating him a lot. Oh right, only I know what he can do. I doubt that Marcus even knows his power that could drown anyone in despair. So she asks him, are you not going to kill me? And he replies with a question, why should I kill you? As long as you do not have the power to fight me, there is no reason to kill you. My role was to prevent you from going after Veltal. And suddenly a rain of energy bullets drops on them, and Graham makes a shield blocking all the bullets, and knights with Magino descend, so Graham stands before them. And on the other side Marcus is strangling Makina and directing her toward the furnace, and he tells her, enough talk now, the time came that I throw you and burn your soul for the city. Indeed he throws her, and all that is in her mind is Veltal, and she wishes that he takes care of himself without her and be fine. And suddenly Veltal appears and saves her like he saved her when the mortals threw her into the volcano. And he tells her, you still have the habit of surrendering quickly, but don't worry, I will always save you. So Makina cries. And he tells her, stay in your place, I will finish the matter quickly. So Marcus tells him, I saw your live broadcast and I know that you now have many followers. So I think you regained some of your power. But Veltal ignores his words and asks him, do you have reasons to make you harm my servant? Or excuses to make you sacrifice another one of the 6 servants or the regenerators? And he replies no. So Veltal asks him, are you intending to join my new forces? And Marcus replies with full confidence, no also. So Veltal pulls his sword, and Marcus shoots at him blood arrows, so Veltal blocks them all and Marcus explodes them under his leg like last time, and Marcus pulls his blood sword and gets close to Veltal, who has summoned his armor and rushes quickly on Marcus, and a rapid clash happens between them, and Marcus notices that he used enhancement magic so he cannot cancel it because he already did it. And Veltal knocks him far, so Marcus throws his sword at him, and then leans on the wall and rushes again on him, and the rapid clash between them continues, and it is obvious that their time is almost equal, and Veltal tells him, you committed a crime and betrayed the regenerators. So he asks him, and who will punish me for this crime? And he replies, surely I will, because I am the Demon King. So Marcus attacks him with rapid strikes while telling him, you became from the past Veltal and I will finish you now. And in a moment Veltal breaks his sword and blasts his head with the sword, but it regenerates again instantly, and he tells him, naturally you target my familia, but the result will not change no matter how you try. So Veltal replies, don't think that I am the same person you met before. So he tells him, no, you are the same normally, and still you have no chance without the familia. Come, I will prove to you. And suddenly he explodes his blood that is on Veltal's hand, and continues the explosion and laughs mockingly, and then changes his face expression to disgust, and Veltal drops on his knees after his 2 hands get cut. And Marcus gets close to Makina and gets surprised from her shocked expressions, so he looks behind and finds immense black energy coming from Veltal, and he tells him, well done for making me reach this stage. You are the second person to bring out this power from me. So Marcus starts stepping back in fear, and Veltal tells him, I will ask you again, and this is the last time, do you have intention to join my forces again? So Marcus replies in astonishment, you really ask me after we reach this? So Veltal interrupts him and tells him angrily, depending on your answer maybe I forgive you for what you did. So Marcus replies nervously, enough. You became from the past and I am the one who will rule the world now. So Veltal's power increases in a terrifying way, and Marcus tries to cast his magic but it gets cancelled, so he gets shocked, and Veltal laughs a very evil laugh and tells him, you have the honor to see my other face that only Graham saw, and Veltal's body transforms into another huge and terrifying form. And on the other side it is Takahashi's turn to broadcast the recorded live of Veltal playing on all the city's screens to make him famous, and she remembers when Veltal told her, I want you to increase the number of people who believe in me in the fastest way possible. So Graham understands what he will do, but he does not clarify the reason to Takahashi, and she tells him, you know that the matter is difficult, right? So he asks her, and if I told you, use any possible way? So she asks him, anything really? So he tells her, cross your limits normally. So Takahashi gets very happy that she did something impossible like this and is enjoying. And at the same time people watch his videos all around the city and like him very much, and that reflects on Veltal on the other side, and he transforms into a huge dragon, and Marcus is shocked from what he sees and did not imagine that could happen. So Veltal tells him, you did not understand the reason I built a castle for myself before underground, and when I chose the throne room to be like a theater for a battle against a hero, you did not ask yourself why. All that was for this form, and your big mistake was that you did not finish me when I came to you still waking and weak. So Marcus acts proud and tries to attack him with magic, but every time he draws a circle it gets cancelled, so he gets more and more shocked. so Veltal tells him calmly, why are you upset? I am doing the same thing you were doing earlier when you cancelled my magic, and he asks him, remember when you said I am very slow? I now came to return you the favor, and Marcus is terrified and trembling, and Veltal continues, you now are the slowest because this form allowed me to imitate the familia, and this place is full of energy so I can use magic as I want, and all thanks to you, Marcus. You are the one who made great progress in technology in this world to take my place and become the Demon King, but this progress turned against you and allowed me to reach a level greater than power, and I greet you very much for the effort you did for me during the past 500 years, and Marcus is shocked and opens his mouth from what he hears, and replies to him, it should be impossible that you defeat me without a familia, and Marcus goes mad and tries to cast spells like a maniac and all get cancelled, and he tells him it was supposed that I defeated you and I am the one to be the Demon King. So Veltal burns his tongue with fire magic to stop the annoyance, and then cuts him and blasts him and freezes him, finally breaks the ice with his sword, so Marcus falls on his face and the ice melts, and he rises terrified because strange creatures come out from the water before him, so Veltal tells him, a friend of mine named this creature the Laughing Man because it pierces the target's familia and controls his consciousness, and he asks him, what do you think? This is not an illusion made by magic, this is an image placed in your imagination only, so Marcus cannot believe that he managed to pierce his familia, although it is more advanced than any other device with anyone, so Veltal laughs mockingly and is very enjoying Marcus's fear, and Marcus starts begging him to stop and forgive him, and tells him, I will join your new forces, so forgive me please, so Veltal replies, I told you before, there will not be a third chance, and Veltal stabs his sword into him and puts him over the furnace, so Marcus gets terrified and asks him, what will you benefit if you throw me in it, so Veltal replies, obviously I will increase the furnace with a traitor like you to increase energy, and honestly after thinking this furnace is very useful and a loss to destroy it, I will throw traitors in it, so Marcus replies, but what you are doing is not different from what I was doing, will you do something bad like this, so Veltal replies angrily, the past 5 centuries made you stupid or what? I am the Demon King and naturally anything bad is essential for me. So Marcus tells him, while terrified, you actually do not know anything about the truth of the world or even why it reached this, and he cuts his hand and throws his blood at Veltal and explodes him, and laughs hysterically until the smoke clears and he gets shocked that he was not affected at all. So Veltal tells him, this was your last rebellion attempt, and throws him into the furnace and he evaporates. So Makina's restraints made by Marcus's magic disappear, and Veltal returns to his normal form and asks Makina, did my form scare you? So she replies, yes. You were very terrifying and that suits a great demon king like you. So he tells her, I was very weak and this experience made me see the hope of life in you and in the regenerators, and that's why I won this time. And on the next day Veltal is live streaming and has been playing for almost 3 continuous days, and after he finishes Makina comes in and tells him at least take a rest every 24 hours, so he tells her the number of subscribers on my channel has become 3 million and I must care, so she congratulates him and thinks to make him a nice meal so they celebrate, so he replies, no, there is no need to celebrate now, and then he tells her, I have been thinking since our fight with Marcus and I think we must find the 6 servants, we almost do not know the place of Ralshan and Silwald and Mal, right? So she replies to him, sadly I knew the place of Ralshan and my before the regenerators hunt period, but now I do not know anything about them. Veltal tells her, when Marcus spoke to you about them he did not mention anyone except Xenol, right? So she replies, yes, that fool only said that he burned Xenol in the furnace. So he tells her, according to what we know he would have boasted that he threw another one of them and would have said so. And in that case I want to search for the remaining 3. So she replies to him, I am with you of course. And they both think that they must find the records of the Servants of Darkness, and those are books in which everything they do is recorded automatically, where they slept and where they went and whom they fought and so on. But it was lost after Veltal lost in the war before Graham. And Makina tells him fortunately that fool Marcus could not exploit it. And Takahashi rings the door because she is coming to visit them, so Makina tells Veltal, this girl said she would not visit us again and now she is coming to us 5 days a week, so he replies to her, do not deny that you are happy about that. And when Takahashi enters, Veltal is surprised that she is still a high school student although she does very dangerous things, and then she tells him, your stream has become much better than before, so he tells her, I will stop it for a period, and she replies to him, do not worry, there are many people who use music in a continuous stream until they return again to playing, and you can also upload your recorded videos for people who did not catch the live stream, so Makina tells him, do not worry, I put an upload schedule for those videos. And then Veltal tells Takahashi about the matter of the records of the Servants of Darkness that they are searching for, so she gets very excited and tells them, you should have told me to help you earlier, I am the best one to gather information. So Veltal replies to her, I was not sure whether to ask help from a mortal in matters of the regenerators or not. And Takahashi begins searching on the internet, so Makina mocks her because it is impossible to find something like that on it. So Takahashi explains to her that there are different ways of searching on the internet that could lead you to things you would not have imagined you would find there, and indeed she finds that the last place the records were in 500 years ago is an old magic school in another city named Akihabara, and the legends say that under this school there is a very huge vault that has not been opened since the War of Mortals and Regenerators. So Makina asks, how are we supposed to enter the school to reach the vault? Surely we will not use force, right? So Takahashi replies, of course we cannot do something like that, and here comes the role of programming infiltration. So Veltal tells them there is no need need to risk without reason. If we enter the school we will become students in it. So they get excited and Takahashi tells them I will submit a student exchange request between the two cities and I will make some adjustments to it so it gets accepted. And on the next day they ride the train going to Akihabara, and when they arrive the clerk asks Veltal for his identity, and he replies to her my face is identity, so she repeats the same question again. So he replies angrily you mean you do not know who I am while I have 3 million followers? So she replies to him we cannot allow anyone to enter the city without identification. So Takahashi takes his identity card from him and shows it to her, so she tells him you can pass. And when they enter the city Veltal is fascinated by its beauty and the shops in it, and after a while of strolling in the city they go to the school, and there they are received by Traitai Godel, one of the 3 great families and the head of the Godel clan and the headmistress of the school, and she is surprised by Veltal's name to the extent she asks him is that your real name? So he tells her, yes, and Takahashi is afraid she will discover the forgery she made in the papers but fortunately she tells them the papers are correct and I will accept you, and she asks Veltal what is the goal of studying as a transferred student, and suddenly Veltal tells her frankly I came to open the vault under the school and see what is inside it. So Takahashi is shocked and Traitai asks him and how did you know about the vault under the school? So he tells her I can discover the truth of anything no matter what it is. So she feels he came here out of curiosity only and she has no objection. But suddenly she changes her mind and tells them I will not be able to let you see the vault because it has been sealed for 500 years. So he asks her and that seal is not easy to undo. So she replies to him to undo this seal you need the keys of the 3 great families in this city. The Godel, Seaboard, and Renard clans, each family has a magic tool named Regalia, and she draws her sword and puts it before them and tells them this is one of the Regalia and it belongs to the Godel clan. And the Seaboard clan has a crown and the Renard clan has an orb. So he asks her then what if I obtain the other Regalia, So she replies at that time I will break the seal for you normally, since long ago collecting the 3 Regalia was the wish of the Godel clan, and I personally have curiosity to know what is inside the vault. But there is one problem, one of the Regalia is lost, and it is the orb of the Renard clan. And then they go to the headmistress's assistant whose name is Mag, and she tells them I will also be your homeroom teacher, and then they ride the elevator with them and Takahashi is annoyed that they took their familia from them, and she feels that her vision decreased because she no longer sees data before her. So teacher Mag replies to her this magic school was built in the old way. So the rules forbid any external aids so that students rely on themselves in using magic and learn the correct basics. And when they arrive at the classroom the teacher leaves them outside and tells them the one I call enters. So Veltal asks them what will we do, and Takahashi is surprised what does he mean. So he tells her it is not your habit to be slow in comprehension. We must deliver a greeting when we enter now, and I will enter first. And when he enters he delivers his terrifying demon king greeting, and Makina enters after him and greets them with extreme nervousness, and finally Takahashi and she speaks spontaneously and is very natural. And afterwards teacher Mag puts a crystal before them, and asks Veltal to put his mana in it so it measures its amount and strength. So he warns her that if he does that he will break the crystal but she does not believe and tells him impossible. So he puts a small amount of mana and breaks it, and Mag is shocked by what happened and Makina laughs. And on the next day teacher Mag starts explaining to them some magic in the class and tells them historical stories, and she notices that Veltal is the only one not writing what she is saying like the rest of his classmates so she goes silent, and he asks her why did you go silent? Continue. So she asks him why are you not writing what I am saying, and he replies because I already memorized everything you said. So she asks him a question about a historical story and he answers very easily because he actually lived those stories 500 years ago, so the students are impressed by him and focus on him. And at lunchtime there is a girl sitting alone focused on Veltal and the others, so a student comes to her and asks her are you interested in the new student's lady of the Renard clan? So she replies to him with a question and what do you want heir of the Higrams family? So he tells her it is the duty of nobles to advise those who do not know how to act like nobles, and asks her what are you even doing here when you cannot even use magic? Just because you are from one of the 3 great families you think you deserve to be in this school. So she ignores him and does not reply. So he tells her you are just the daughter of an electrician and a worthless elf. So Hazuki gets angry and tells him you can say anything about me, but not about my father and mother. So Veltal interrupts them and tells them enough noise I want to eat in peace. So Albert asks him arrogantly and who are you even to interfere? So Veltal replies you forgot the name of the student who introduced himself to you in the morning. So Albert gets surprised and changes his expression, and Veltal introduces himself again and tells him your words to her are not pleasing in your unjustified racist way. So Albert replies you have no right to tell me that when you are just a person doing fake work anyway. So Veltal asks him did you watch my live broadcast? So he replies proudly no I only heard from other students while they were talking about you nothing more. You are standing before one from the Higrams family. So Veltal is surprised by the name, and asks him are you the grandson of Gonval Higrams? So Albert replies in astonishment and how do you know our founder? But Veltal ignores him and says I did not expect that coward to live. They were fun days when I stood before him in battle and he got terrified of me and ran. So Albert gets angry from insulting his family like that. So Veltal silences him and tells him you are speaking with arrogance and pride while you are less than the girl you are insulting. So Albert gets annoyed and challenges him to a duel. So they go to the school's duel arena, and Hazuki is sitting alone. Then Takahashi and Makina enter, and Takahashi asks her without caring for her feelings, why is everyone avoiding you? So she replies, because they do not like the idea that I come to this school while being a failure. So Makina asks her, in surprise, failure how? So she replies, I get high grades in theory but I cannot use magic. So Takahashi asks her again indifferently, then why did you come here? So she tells them, I have my reasons. After that, teacher Mag enters to judge in the duel, and Veltel stands before Albert, and he calls Hazuki and tells her, watch me well while I win. So Albert gets annoyed that he speaks with confidence, and tells him, I am the best here in using mana and controlling it, and I got the highest grade in all exams. So Veltel replies, anyway, still the girl you mock is far higher than you. So Hazuki says, what is he talking about? I am the lowest ranked in everything actually. So Makina replies, surely this school's ranking is wrong because Veltel's words are always right. So Albert tells Veltel, prove that you deserve the confidence you speak with. So he replies, generally I see this fight will not be fair, so I will put some constraints. Meaning I will win this duel without moving a single step from my place. So Albert tells him that is a very nice excuse for losing. You just want to insult me. So Veltel tells him, what do you think we put conditions? If you win you can ask me for anything I do for you. And if I win you will never bother Hazuki again, whether in school or elsewhere. So Hazuki is surprised from what he is doing for her, and she tells Takahashi and Makina stop him quickly because he does not realize how strong Albert is. So Makina replies, do not worry, Albert has no chance, even 1 in a million, to touch Veltel. And Takahashi replies, exactly, Veltel will finish the matter quickly and easily now. And Mag gives the signal to start the duel, so Albert draws a small magic circle, and before he speaks Veltel tells him, do not disappoint me. Are you really intending to use that small amount of mana? I want you to fight me with killing intent. So Albert uses his 2 hands and takes the matter as a challenge, and Mag tries to stop them because it is not allowed for a duel like this to be to the death. So Veltel replies, leave him because he needs to take a lesson. So Albert launches a very strong magic shot and Hazuki gets nervous and warns Veltel that he will die, but the shock is that Veltel catches the shot with his hand very easily, and tells him, looks like you are not just speaking for nothing actually, and breaks his spell, and Albert is shocked from what he sees. So Veltel tells him, no problem, maybe after 200 years of training you become an amusing opponent. But do not be upset, this is a natural result. You are indeed skilled in mana control for a mortal in this era, and I am sure this is the result of much training. And it is obvious that Gongal raised you well, and I decided to give you a reward for your effort. And Veltel gathers a quantity of mana in his fingers, shaking the whole arena, and compresses it into a small ball and launches it at Albert, hitting him into the wall of the arena so he loses consciousness, and Hazuki is shocked from what she sees, and teacher Mag gets flustered and stays silent. So Veltel tells her, what is it, announce the winner now. So she declares his victory and Veltel leaves the arena meeting Hazuki and asks her, what do you think? So she replies, thank you, but you must stay away from me so you do not face more problems, and she leaves them and goes. And then the 3 of them leave the school and decide to go explore the city and gather information, and on the way Takahashi tells them, I am surprised by the story that we need the 3 regalia to break the seal. Why do we not use your magic to break it easier? We are not even sure that the records we want are inside. So he tells her it could really be, but if the door is locked with ancient magic it will be secured, and if anyone tried to open it by force everything inside will automatically be destroyed. So Makina replies, we must take the hard way. And it is very good that we agreed with the headmistress to take the sword from her, and so only 2 remain. So Takahashi tells her the crown is with Corneus Seaboard, the lord of the electric city, and Veltel continues, and the orb is currently missing, but we gained Hazuki Renard on our side. So Takahashi gets surprised that he saved her for that from the beginning, and Veltel continues, probably the reason for the fall of the Renard clan is the loss of their orb because it is the symbol of their authority, and that is the only evidence we have now. And then they arrive at the electric city, which is the other half of Akihabara, and Veltel is shocked that it is very flashy, unlike the old magic city that has the school. And Takahashi takes them to one of the cafes to gather information from there, whether from anyone working in it or from the rumors spread among people, and the shock is that they find Hazuki working in the cafe, and she gets very upset that they saw her at work. So Veltel tells her sit down, and asks her to give him the regalia, so she asks him why, and he replies very simply, I want to open the vault under Akihabara Magic School and rule the world. So she tells him sorry, but that will not happen. So he asks her, because you lost your regalia? So she is surprised that he knows something like that, and he continues, trait I told us. So she tells him, boasting, yes, and because of that I destroyed my clan and now became a poor student working part-time too. Live. So Takahashi interrupts them and asks, what does regalia even mean? So Hazuki replies, those things are considered proof of ownership of their holders. And according to what my parents said 500 years ago, after the hero Graham defeated the demon king, the ruler Milda admired him and gave him the regalia and the land and many treasures. And after that the hero Graham was exiled from the kingdom, and before he left Graham gave the regalia to a person, who was King Luxel II, the founder of the 3 great families. And when he inherited the throne he gave his 3 sons the regalia and the kingdom, although it was clear that the 3 did not like each other and share the authority and the wealth they took from their father the king. So they split into 3 opposing powers, and after many wars they agreed to rule this country with a parliamentary system, and this is the story of Akihabara and the 3 great families, and matters became much better now. But the hatred between them did not end. So Veltel asks her, so that is why the seal has not been undone for 500 years, so she replies to him it does not matter as long as the orb is lost and there is no need for you to ask me about it, and before she leaves Veltal tells her all I want from you is to take us to Cornea Seaboard, so she is forced to agree because she already owes Veltal. And they notice that Hazuki is very hungry so they go to a restaurant. And the people there are very surprised at the presence of students from the magic school in a place like that, and Makaina tells Hazuki I am impressed that you got an appointment with the biggest and most important figure in this city, so she tells them the matter is not impressive or anything but only one person can enter with me, so Veltal replies of course I am the one who will enter with you. And suddenly they find the police entering and ask them are you students from the magic city, and when they see the lady of the Renard clan with them they are surprised, so they tell them yes and the officer replies it is not allowed for your presence here, and he asks Hazuki to come with him, so Treitai enters and tells him stop what you are doing, and asks him since when do the police take students just because of food, so they leave quickly. So Takahashi and the others thank her for saving them, and Hazuki welcomes her, so she asks them what are you doing here, so Veltal replies Hazuki is taking us on a tour around Akihabara only, and they ask her the same question so she tells them I came to meet Mag, and asks them did you see her anywhere here, and Veltal replies no we did not see her, so she tells them fine and asks Hazuki to talk to her alone. So Veltal takes the others and they go to another restaurant to try. So Treitai tells Hazuki I am happy that you got to know friends, and she replies they are not my friends and asks her what did you want me for, so she replies I want an answer to the offer I offered you, so Hazuki gets confused and asks her what offer, so she tells her that I adopt you. If you are ready to accept that I am ready anytime, so Hazuki replies if you stand with me the rest of the nobles will hate you, so she tells her do not worry about me the most important thing to me is that you live happily. So Hazuki replies I must protect the Renard clan from my father and mother, so Treitai tells her fine but remember that I have been by your side since the day you were born, so Hazuki thanks her for everything and Treitai leaves, and suddenly Hazuki feels pain in her eye, and Takahashi enters with food and asks her are you okay, so she replies I am fine do not worry. And after that Hazuki goes with Veltal to meet Cornea's assistant whose name is Myral, and he starts giving them a body check first before they enter, and then they meet Cornea and he welcomes them very much, and Hazuki thanks him for meeting them despite his busy schedule, and Veltal introduces himself and talks to Cornea with a bit of a sharp tone, so Hazuki gets nervous because she did not expect him to do that, and she apologizes to Cornea for his bad behavior, but contrary to expectations, Cornea likes him very much, and he asks him what did you come wanting? So Veltal replies I came to ask you about the regalia. Cornea summons the crown and puts it on his head, so Veltal asks him is that a weapon, so he replies not exactly. It was made with the power of the ruler Milda and you could say it is part of her soul, and it can be stored in the soul of the current holder so it is impossible to be taken from me as long as I did not abandon it or get killed, so Veltal asks him so if I kill you I can take it, so they are all surprised and Myral and the guards take defensive stance, and Veltal saves the situation and tells them I overdid the joke sorry. So Cornea laughs and tells him you are a very interesting person, and Veltal asks him to lend him the crown to open the vault with it, so Cornea notices that his goal is not the treasure inside the vault, so Veltal replies my goal is to rule the world, so he tells him since you came with Hazuki I will trust you and will not ask you much, and Akihabara now is bound by old traditions and I want to break them, but the people of the Magic City are very stubborn especially those clinging to their interests, but I see that the city needs renewal for the future, and he tells him unfortunately even if I wanted to lend you the crown I cannot, you must possess all the regalia to obtain the huge power that will break the seal, meaning you must be the true king of this city, and collecting all the regalia is the easiest way to do that, and Treitai thinks in the same way to preserve the traditions of her old city, and suddenly he asks everyone in the room to leave except Veltal, and when they leave he tells Veltal I want to know what you intend by collecting all the regalia, and in return I will tell you all the information I know, and since we will be allies in a small secret I will tell you something and I did not want Hazuki to know it. The orb is in a nearby place and I cannot determine its exact location, and the owners of the regalia can feel the other regalia as long as they are in Akihabara, so I want to ask you a request, and it is that you help Hazuki. Maybe she pretends to be strong but in truth she is weak, and freeing this girl from the shackles of the city is one of the reasons making me want to change the situation, and I owe this girl's father a lot and he died without me repaying him so the least I can do is take care of her, and according to the records this girl inherited the orb from her ancestor when she was just a child, so the key that will let us know the places of the rest of the regalia is Hazuki. And then Veltal goes out to Takahashi and Makaina and tells them we secured Cornea already and got very useful information thanks to Hazuki, so they all thank her and then they think where they will go next, and suddenly Takahashi suggests that they stay overnight at Hazuki's to get closer to her and know her better, so Hazuki is surprised but inside she is happy. So they go to Hazuki's house, and the first thing Hazuki does when she enters is flip one of her family photos face down so no one sees it, then they make a feast and eat together and enjoy their time, so Takahashi tells her I did not expect that you work part-time and the school allowed you to do that, so she replies no I work secretly so do not tell anyone, and Hazuki praises Makina's food, so she replies thank you, that is the result of me living alone for many years, so Hazuki is surprised and Takahashi gets flustered and changes the subject so she does not know that Makaina is a regenerator, and then Veltal challenges Hazuki in video games and she defeats him, so they all play and try to defeat her but no one can. And at night Hazuki asks Veltal, what did you talk about with Cornea when you were alone? So he replies, I heard that you took your regalia from an ancestor, and then she asks him, why are you this interested in me and defended me? Is it because I am the lady of the Renard clan? So he tells her, you are very harsh on yourself. I do what comes to my mind and that's it. And when I fought Albert it was because he annoyed me while I was eating. But afterwards we became friends and we all are together, so do not be surprised that I am interested in you. And generally I am proud of you. You honored your family and worked to earn money and protected your clan. And then he asks her, was that picture you flipped your picture when you were young? So she tells him yes, and he asks her, is there something you want to hide from the others? So she tells him yes, and he understands that it is hard to ask her about herself, but she decides to tell him. And we return to the past, and one day Hazuki wakes up and goes out very excited for her birthday, and she talks to the palace servants and runs to her father and mother, and they all get ready to go out together, and they go to the game center and Hazuki stands choosing the gift she wants, and she is torn between two things, so her father buys her both. But he notices that someone is watching them and decides to take them and leave quickly. And they go strolling in the city and enjoy their time very much. But suddenly the people who were chasing them appear and kill her father and mother before her eyes. And on the day of the funeral Hazuki stands before their grave and apologizes to them, and Cornea is there standing with Treitai and tells her, what worries me is that she will inherit the regalia this early. So she tells him it seems she still has not realized that at all. And he replies, I think they were targeting Hazuki originally because of that inheritance. So she asks him, do you know who did that? And he replies, if I knew I would have killed him by now. And suddenly Hazuki feels pain in her eye, and she hears Cornea telling Treitai we must care for her and look after her because we are indebted to her family, and she replies yes indeed. And we return to the present and Hazuki tells Veltal, the reason I live in Akihabara is that my father and mother wanted me to be a noble in it, but honestly I do not like this city. And the strange thing is that whenever someone gets close to me either he gets hurt or abandons me. So I decided to live alone the rest of my life. So Veltal replies, surely it was hard for you to share a past like that, so thank you for trusting me. And after a while they are walking in a corridor in the mansion and suddenly Veltal senses someone, so he stops Hazuki and a person in a black cloak appears before him, and he tells Veltal, you can call me Faceless. And you can also say I am a hero from the guild, which by the way Marcus was a member of. And I have a request for you. You must withdraw from this city immediately because you are to us a threat after you killed Marcus. And if you carry out our request we will not touch anyone of yours and we will deal with the school vault for you. So he replies, surely I do not agree and do not speak arrogantly to me. There is only one man in this world who can stand before me and calls himself a hero. And any other person who dares take his plaything I will eliminate him. So Faceless decides to leave, but before he vanishes Hazuki turns and sees him and gets terrified. And on the next day Treitai goes to Cornea's office and after inspection and identity verification he lets her in, so she tells him the security system is very high, and he replies you also do that, and he signals his guards to leave, and tells Treitai I have nothing to do with what happened to Mag. So she replies no, that is not the reason I came to you, and suddenly she draws her sword and cuts his hand, and tells him I came to take the crown, and she kills him and takes it. And on the other side news spreads in the school that teacher Mag had an accident and died in it, and at the same moment the media says that Cornea was killed, and the last person who was in his room according to the guards was Treitai, so she became a suspect in the crime and the police are searching for her. So Hazuki is shocked by what she hears and feels that she is the reason. And suddenly a message comes to Hazuki from Treitai, and it tells her I am fine, do not worry, but there is a very important thing and I want you to come to the headmistress's room. So Hazuki calms down and decides to go to her, and on the other side all the school's students are gathered in the training hall, and they find a girl appearing before them wearing very strange glasses. And at the same time Hazuki meets Treitai and asks her about what happened to Cornea, so she replies calm down, do not worry, and Hazuki falls on her knees in despair and tells her 2 more people were killed because they got close to me. So Treitai tries to calm her down, but suddenly Hazuki tells her you are not Treitai, because she never calls me by my family name, and suddenly the place changes around them and she replies I thought I watched you enough to know how to play Treitai's role. So Hazuki recognizes from her voice that she is teacher Mag, and asks her weren't you dead already? So she replies I took a mission from the guild to gather all the regalia, but the obstacle that appeared before me was Cornea and I would not have been able to carry out the mission without killing him, so I had to put Treitai in the place of the explosion to kill her and take her shape, and then go to Cornea and pass his inspection with her identity, and the most important thing now is that I want your help. So Hazuki replies angrily impossible. So she tells her no, you will help me because your friends and all your classmates are now hostages. And she shows her a scene from a hall with a dead girl, and she sees Veltal and Takahashi standing. So Hazuki asks her are you planning to kill me and take the orb? So she tells her no, I will summon the sovereign Mildya, and she binds Hazuki on the ground with a magical restraint, and under her is a very large summoning circle, and she tells her the regalia is essential to carry out this summoning. And surely you think now that the orb is lost, but in fact it is here now. And Mildya also is here, and she explains to her that after the Fantasia a being like Mildya was supposed to die, but she avoided that by shrinking herself and entering the body of an infant. infant, and that infant was Hazuki, and she tells her surely you want to know now how I knew these things. That is because when I attacked you 10 years ago Mildia controlled your body and defeated me, so I sent assassins to kill you to find the orb, but then I discovered that the orb had the ability to control the power, and that is the reason for the low mana in your body and that you cannot use magic, and that made me think if all your mana is used to control Mildia then where is the orb that controls her, and according to medical records you needed a surgical operation for your right eye to be removed and replaced with an artificial one, and during that surgery your mother asked the doctor to implant a certain eye, and then I knew that the orb is your other eye with the different color, so Hazuki is shocked. And on the other side the strange girl uses domination magic and casts it on some students, and pulls them beside her and makes them say nobody move and all of you here are hostages. Whoever disobeys orders will be killed, so Veltal puts his hand on Albert's shoulder and talks to him telepathically, and tells him destroy the swords above the students' heads that she controls and they will return again, and Takahashi gives signals with her hands, and the girl tells them there will be a war soon and Akahibara will completely change and there will be no safety anymore. Takahashi turns off the lights by hacking, and Veltal charges his energy and rushes at the students under control and breaks the spell on them, and Albert covers him with his magic shots, and Makaina rushes at the girl controlling them but she escapes from her, and suddenly Takahashi tells them the enemy is fighting Hazuki on the roof, so Makaina goes after the girl and Veltal decides to go up to the roof. And at the same time Hazuki screams from the pain, and Mag tells her I am the one who killed the doctor who operated on you and your father and mother and even your first friend, and when you came to consult me it was very funny, so Hazumi feels guilt and gives in, and Veltal appears so Mag tells him you came late and literally want to destroy 10 years of work but it is too late already, and she disappears before him. So Veltal runs to Hazumi and calls her, so she replies I am not Hazumi, and she transforms into Mildia with the crown on her head and the sword in her hand. And on the other side the hero Graham is sitting on top of a building roof, watching the people's uprising in the streets because they think Traitai is imprisoned unjustly, and Kinohara appears behind him, and asks him are you not going to stop them, so he asks her indifferently and why would I do that, so she replies with a question is that not what the hero does, and suddenly before them appears the light beam of Mildia covering the whole city. And at the same time Mildia tells Veltal I am the Lady of Luck and one of the 6 great rulers, and you raise your head before me and that is disrespect, you should bow, so he replies I never imagined you would remain until now Mildia, so she tells him and I as well but you became very weak, so he replies not as weak as you, so she tells him I hate you very much and I dislike men with black hair, your hair should be blonde, so he tells her I hate you too especially your arrogant tone when you speak with me. And his sword appears and so does hers and she begins attacking him, and she throws him off the building and slams him into the ground, so she tells him I cannot believe this is the same demon king who fought the hero Graham and made the whole world turn against him, so he replies and you too lost your radiance and the title of ruler no longer suits you, so she gets angry and attacks him and he dodges her strike that destroyed the whole ground. And before he casts his magic at her a rock hits his hand pushing it away from her, and suddenly she cuts off his hand so he quickly backs away, and he notices she stopped his regeneration so his hand did not return, so he tells her I expect nothing less from the weapons of the ruler. But I uncovered your secret already. You manipulate fate to put all the luck into your strikes and make my luck bad so I cannot hit you at all. In short you are just a cheater, and that is why back when you were strong you applied this to Graham's fate and made him never grow old. So she gets angry and tells him shut up. Your words are wrong. I only wanted him to be happy and I did not mean to make him suffer. I am sorry, and she puts her hand on her head and suddenly Hazuki returns to her senses, and tells Veltal save me, so he replies of course. Just hold on and I promise I will save you, so Mildia takes control again. And on the other side Makaina is fighting the girl with all her strength, but she suspects she knows her, so she asks her did I meet you before, so the girl replies my name is Angie. And you? So Makaina introduces herself and Angie tells her no I do not know anyone by that name, and attacks her again so Makaina dodges the strike and casts magic on her, and she thinks that strike was enough to finish her, but the surprise is that Angie blocked the strike with her black wings. So Makaina spreads her wings too and flies quickly before Angie casts her magic, but Makaina is shocked that the shots chase her and she makes a barrier to block them, but Angie charges at her with the spear and pierces her body, so Makaina tells her you surely do not know that when the immortal's blood leaves his body it turns into energy, and she uses Marcus's ability of blood explosion, and blows up Angie's head. And unexpectedly Makaina finds her body still moving, so she realizes she is an immortal like her, and Angie rises and her head reforms. And here is the shock, and Makaina realizes Angie is one of the 6 servants of darkness, but Mai tells her I do not know who you are at all, so Makaina deduces her memory is erased, and suddenly Mai feels severe pain and a massive black mana orb forms. And before Mai throws it at Makaina Mag appears and puts her to sleep. So Makaina wonders why Traitai is doing this, but when she speaks she recognizes from her voice that she is Teacher Mag not Traitai, and she tells her if I lost Angie after I failed my mission I would lose my mind. And also the officials love this model Angie, and she takes her and disappears. And at the same time the clash between Mildya and Veltal is still going, and Mildya tells him you are running away and look pathetic. So he replies I do not want to hear that from someone controlling the body of a little girl like a coward. So she appears behind him and casts her magic at him and he dodges quickly. And whenever he tries to cast magic at her something happens making him miss. So he breathes fire at her but it does not affect her, and she attacks him. So he tells her I understand now. Your physical attacks like sword and fire contain some ether. And when I attack you with my spells I consume a larger amount of ether so you divert them to not hit you. And the clear difference between attack and defense in you is that one is manual and the other automatic. And since your defense is always active surely that is the automatic one and the attack is manual. And the fact that you are forced to block my strikes means if they touch you they will affect you severely. So she tells him enough arrogance. You already lost and I will finish you now and meet the hero. So he asks her what did you even want to do in this world? And she replies I want to know Graham's feelings and ask him about what he thinks and apologize for what I did. So he asks her surprised do you really not understand Graham's feelings? So she replies angrily as if someone like you would understand his feelings. So he interrupts and tells her of course I understand. I am sure you gave him the ability of youth and made him live in this disgusting era. And what you feel towards him now is called love. And I am sure I know Graham's feelings now about what you did to him. So she is shocked and realizes he surely hates her now and she cries and throws her sword on the ground, and begins apologizing many times. So Veltal seizes the opportunity and calls Hazuki, and she wakes up and tells him please save me and get me out of here. So Mildya replies shut up do not obstruct my path. And Veltal replies I hear you and I will save you now. So Mildya gets angry and grabs her sword again, and she rushes at Veltal so he summons a new sword like Graham's. So she stops again in her place and suddenly her eye turns red and there is a sphere of energy around her, and on the other side Mag tells herself she did it. Good that I put that property in her as a backup. No one knows what the Demon King might do. And Mildya emerges from the sphere in a new form stronger, and casts a fireball at Veltal and chases him until it hits him and blows him away, and Graham receives him with his shield and tells him welcome Demon King. You look funny honestly. So Veltal replies if you are going to interfere then hurry and do it now. So he asks him who is she? So he replies she is a woman who loves you and is upset because you do not see her so she is destroying the city. So Graham decides to intervene. So Veltal stops him and tells him the body she controls is my friend so you cannot hurt her. So I order you to protect my back only. And Graham agrees and they rush together towards Mildya, and whenever she casts something Graham blocks it and Veltal keeps running until he jumps from above a building roof and Graham throws him at her. And when Mildya sees Graham she freezes in her place and focuses on him so Veltal pierces her heart with the Soul Slayer sword. So the battle ends, and Mildya remembers Graham and tells him I am sorry. So Veltal replies do not apologize there is no need. So she asks him what is this sword, and he replies it is a sword that destroys the soul inside the person. So she understands she is about to vanish. So Veltal tells her you should have believed in Graham more. He would never hate you because he is a hero. So she asks him was he not sad, and he replies surely not. So she cries and thanks him, and Hazuki returns to her senses and cries heavily so Veltal tells her there is no time. There is still something we must deal with. And he takes her and they go to the city's residence, and Veltal announces that Hazuki will be the queen of the city from now. So all the people are upset with her and say many negative words. So Hazuki introduces herself and summons the regalia and tells them I am the new queen. So all the people get angrier because she has the regalia and Hazuki is about to give up, but Veltal supports her and she composes herself. And she tells them the truth about Cornea's death and that the trait I hear now is fake and the real one died, and that there was an attack on her just now and Veltal saved her. And then she tells them I understand your anger but now after I obtained all the regalia I have all of Akihabra's authority, and I will choose to apply my right as queen and declare that the royal authority of the regalia is empty meaning no one specific owns them. And regarding the city's administration it will be in the council's hands. So the people are surprised what they will do now without a king to rule them. So Hazuki screams at them deal with yourselves you bunch of fools. And afterwards she and Veltal go to the others and they open the vault they came for, and find inside a huge treasure and also the records they needed, and they return home and Veltal sits with Makina and tells her good that we confirmed that Mai and Silwold are still alive, and the house bell rings and Takahashi and Hazuki enter, and he finds that Hazuki transferred to the school of their city, and then they celebrate after all the effort they did and play together and as usual Hazuki beats them all. And afterwards Veltal stands alone on the balcony so Hazuki enters and thanks him for everything he did for her.